What is going on, everyone? Nostalgia95 coming at you with yet another mythological conversation video. Basically a Digimon sub-series where we look at every mythological reference you can find in the Digimon universe. And let me say there are a lot of references. There are a lot of mysterious figures and even artifacts you will find in Digimon that really have something to do with our real world, and that through different times and cultures. In the Explaining Lalamon Digimon Digivolution line video, we discussed the Digimon Lotosmon, a mega level Digimon with a personality that shows calmness and grace. A beautiful Digimon who possesses the ability to make people forget their suffering by granting them good dreams. I do think that some of us, if not many, would love to just wander in the dream state to forget for a moment what is happening in their lives, which I can totally understand out of experience, especially with a virus right at our doorstep. May you all be safe and sound wherever you may find yourself. Now, Lotosmon, who is Lalamon's mega level form, is holding two staffs. In its right arm, it has this rainbow colored staff with flowers which has mystical abilities. What we are going to be doing is not focus on the staff on its right hand, but rather on the left. It is a staff named the Caduceus, a staff that administers restoration and devastation. Certainly the kind of weapon you would wish to have. I am sure some of you are quite familiar with the figures which form the staff. You can see it in various coats of arms like the one of France, Ukraine, even Russia. You can also see this very symbol on numerous healthcare organizations and medical practice. However, the symbol is often used incorrectly due to confusion with the traditional medical symbol, which is the Rod of Asclepius. You can, for example, see it on a logo of the World Health Organization. While the Caduceus is a symbol featuring two snakes winding around an often winged staff and representing the god Hermes, the Rod of Asclepius is one serpent entwined rod wielded by the Greek god Asclepius, a deity associated with healing and medicine. There is, however, an increasing awareness and recognition that the Caduceus is a false symbol and has no historical substantiation as an emblem of medicine. Many academic and health institutions in the Western Hemisphere have therefore changed their logo as a consequence. One survey found that 62% of professional healthcare associations use the Rod of Asclepius as their symbol, and 76% of commercial healthcare organizations use the Caduceus symbol. The long-standing and abundantly attested historical associations of the Caduceus with commerce are considered by many to be inappropriate in a symbol used by those engaged in the healing arts. As god of the high road and the marketplace, Hermes was perhaps above all else the patron of commerce and the fat purse. As a corollary, he was the special protector of the traveling salesman. As spokesman for the gods, he not only brought peace on earth, occasionally even the peace of death, but his silver-tongued eloquence could always make the worse appear the better cause. From this latter point of view, would not his symbol be suitable for certain congressmen, all medical quacks, book agents, and purveyors of vacuum cleaners, rather than for the straight-thinking, straight-speaking therapeutist? As conductor of the dead to their subterranean abode, his emblem would seem more appropriate on a hearse than on a physician's car. The Caduceus is the traditional symbol of Hermes, the herald of the gods, also considered the protector of human heralds, travelers, thieves, merchants, and orators. He is able to move quickly and freely between the worlds of the mortal and the divine, aided by his winged sandals, and plays the role of psychopomp, or soul guide, a conductor of souls into the afterlife. On that front, Lotosmon is more or less symbolizing both the Caduceus of Hermes and the Rod of Asclepius. The Digimon is not necessarily a herald, but it can restore others and is also capable of sending people into the world of dreams and make people forget the suffering of the world. In the context of Hermes, the Caduceus is a symbol object that not only represents Hermes or its Roman version Mercury, it also represents by extension trade, occupations, or undertakings associated with the god. And speaking of Mercury, it is said that the Caduceus symbol originated when the god once attempted to stop a fight between two snakes by throwing his rod at them, whereupon they twined themselves around the rod and the symbol was born. The Caduceus is also a recognized symbol of commerce and negotiation, two realms in which balanced exchange and reciprocity are recognized ideals. In some contexts, it is said that the wand would wake the sleeping and send the awake to sleep. If applied to the dying, their death would be gentle, and if applied to the dead, they would return to life. Now, I did mention the Greek gods, didn't I? The earliest known theological or spiritual documents concerning Hermes are found in the 7th century before Christ. William Hayes Ward, an American clergyman, editor, and Orientalist, has said that this symbol of a staff entwined by two serpents, sometimes surmounted by wings, could have originated in a time between 3000 and 4000 before Christ. Some accounts suggest that the oldest known imagery of the Caduceus has its roots in Mesopotamia, a region of southwest Asia in the Tigris and the Euphrates river system, a location which is now known as the Middle East, which includes parts of Southwest Asia and lands around the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. In modern times, we're talking about Iraq, Kuwait, Turkey, and Syria. Some would believe that the Caduceus has its roots with the Mesopotamian god called Ningishzida, one who was sometimes depicted as a serpent with a human head. Ningishzida was a deity of vegetation and the underworld, and the death of vegetation is associated with its travel to the underworld. What is interesting about this god, especially for the Digimon franchise, is that it is said that it was one of the ancestors of Gilgamesh, a major hero in ancient Mesopotamian mythology. Gilgamesh and Mesopotamia have quite a few references in Digimon, and we're going to take a look at all of them. In the Louvre Museum, a famous green steatite vase carved for King Gudea of Lagash is being stored. We're going to take a look in a moment. Let me first tell you that King Gudea was a ruler of the state of Lagash in southern Mesopotamia. He ruled approximately 2000 years before Christ. In that one steatite vase, that should by now in the least be 4000 years old, you can see the same two snakes around the pole. The Caduceus is interpreted as depicting the god himself, with an inscription that says the following: "To the god Ningishzida, his god, Gudea, Ensi, who is the governor of Lagash, for the prolongation of his life, has dedicated this." The Caduceus symbol can also be found in ancient India back in the 3rd or 2nd century before Christ, as one of the punch-marked coins of the Maurya Empire in India. The Maurya Empire was an empire which dominated the Indian subcontinent and was founded by Chandragupta Maurya, who was counseled by the philosopher Chanakya, who had great influence in the formation of the empire. Numismatic research, or in other words, the study of currency, which includes coins, tokens, paper, money, and related objects, suggests that this symbol, the Caduceus, was the symbol of the Buddhist king Ashoka, also known as Ashoka the Great, an Indian emperor of the Maurya dynasty. You can see the Caduceus symbol on a coin. What the symbol would mean is a bit of a mystery. Some would claim it to be Ashoka's royal symbol, which I'm not entirely sure of because the lion was the symbol of royalty and leadership that represented King Ashoka. To a point, it was even put on Indian currency before it was replaced by Gandhi. It has left people with some mixed opinions, as some would believe the significance of that symbol to be more important than what an individual would signify. So the Caduceus brought us to Europe, to the Middle East, to Asia. According to Edward Bynum, the same symbol can also be found in Africa, in ancient Egypt. He said that the Ureus, which is the staff of the god Osiris, and the Kundalini, a spiritual art of India, which I'll explain in a moment, both represent the medical Caduceus. For that, let us get back for a moment to India. In Hinduism, the Kundalini, which means coiled snake in Sanskrit, and by the way, Sanskrit is a classical language of South Asia belonging to the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-European languages. Anyway, the Kundalini is a form of divine feminine energy believed to be located at the base of the spine. This energy in the body, when cultivated and awakened through tantric practice, is believed to lead to spiritual liberation. Tantric comes from Tantra, and what Tantra does is creating energy to purify the body, mind, and spirit. It aims to balance the masculine and feminine energy within all of us, individually, between partners, and people in general. Kundalini is represented by the symbol of a serpent, and the serpent is symbolic for rebirth, transformation, and healing of the old form, be that mind, body and spirit, as it sheds its skin and regenerates as a new being. Now, to continue with the African version of the Caduceus according to Edward Bynum, it is said that the medicinal meaning of the Caduceus can be found in ancient Egypt, where Isis, the ancient Egyptian goddess of medicine, brings wings and snakes to a vertical staff. It is said that to attribute the Caduceus as a symbol of healing to ancient Greece, rather than to its true origin in ancient Egypt, is as deceptive as the god Hermes himself. The Caduceus may not have appeared on that Swiss printer's vignette until the 1500s, but Isis was referred to as a woman doctor, more than once, in the Ebers Papyrus. Yes, the very same ancient medical document that gave us the Rod of Asclepius. Here is what is written on the ancient medical document. O Isis, thou great enchantress, heal me, deliver me from all evil, bad, typhonic things, from demoniacal and deadly diseases and pollutions of all sorts that rush upon me, as thou didst deliver and release thy son Horus. So to conclude, clearly through time the Caduceus symbol has had many origins, all of them with their own stories and contexts. This would make it a bit harder to point to its first reference. I brought you to ancient Mesopotamia, ancient India, Europe, Africa, and by taking into account these different parts of the world, it is more than safe to conclude that the symbol is older than the god Hermes himself, said to be the one associated to the symbol. Also, as the snake is part of that symbol we call Caduceus, it would mean that the snake is also seen as very symbolic. Not necessarily as an evil creature like we discussed in the Explaining Lilith video, where the snake in some sources is literally portrayed as the devil, but more so as an animal symbolic of rebirth, especially when we look at it from an Indian mythological point of view, just to say the least. And the irony is that I have always seen the Caduceus, or its often mistaken variant, the Rod of Asclepius, as a mere logo that is seen on hospital cars. If it was not for Digimon, I would not have explored that symbol and come to witness that its origins are way more diverse than I would have thought. That is why I have to tell you guys, always be open for research. Ask questions, look for answers, and don't just accept what you see and what is considered as common sense. Because for starters, common sense is not common, and don't just accept theoretical consensus. Ask questions and do your research. That is the true way of science. Hey guys, this is the end of the mythological episode. If you want more episodes as this one, you can always check the mythological playlists where I always put this type of videos. That way, you can easily catch up on the newest and oldest videos. Also, all my contacts and social media platforms are in the description box. There is a Discord link you can find, and that way you can talk to the Digimon community. Also, make sure to subscribe and drop a like for the YouTube algorithm and write a comment. Boy, this really makes me want to travel to India, the Mesopotamian areas, and certainly Africa.